Imagine standing inside the Tower of London, only a few steps away from the greatest royal treasures in British history. Crowns worn by kings, jewels admired by queens, treasures worth billions, protected every second of every day. Now imagine arriving one morning and discovering that one priceless royal treasure is no longer where it should be. Did Britain ever lose one of its crown jewels? Was one secretly stolen? Or is the greatest mystery hidden behind the history of the crown jewels themselves? Today we are uncovering the real story behind the British crown jewels. Millions of people visit the Tower of London every year to see these incredible treasures. Many believe the collection has remained untouched for centuries. But the truth is far more surprising. The crown jewels that visitors see today are not exactly the same treasures that once belonged to the medieval kings and queens of England. Long before modern Britain existed, these royal treasures represented power, authority, and the right to rule. Every crown, every scepter, and every royal object carried deep meaning. Without them, a coronation could never truly be complete. For hundreds of years, these priceless treasures were protected with extreme care. Kings trusted only a few loyal people to guard them. No one imagined that one day almost the entire collection would disappear forever. What happened next became one of the most dramatic chapters in British royal history. To understand the mystery, we must travel back nearly 400 years to a time of war, revolution, and the fall of a king. England was no longer a peaceful kingdom. A bitter civil war had divided the nation. On one side stood King Charles I. On the other stood the forces of Parliament. Years of fighting left the country exhausted. Cities were damaged. Families were separated. Trust disappeared. Eventually the king's army was defeated. In the year 1649, King Charles I was executed. For the first time in English history, the monarchy had fallen. The new government believed that every symbol of royal power should be destroyed. That included the crown jewels. Officials entered the royal treasury. One by one they removed the crowns, the scepters, the royal orbs, and many priceless treasures. Gold was melted down. Silver was sold. Precious stones were removed and traded. Ancient royal treasures that had survived for centuries disappeared within days. Many of these priceless objects have never been seen again. Historians believe that some were broken apart forever while others were sold to private buyers whose identities remain unknown. No complete records survived. No one knows exactly where every jewel ended up. The magnificent medieval crown jewels that once crowned English kings had vanished from history. For many people, this was the greatest loss of royal treasure Britain had ever experienced. It was not the work of a secret thief. It was carried out by the government itself. The treasures that represented the history of an entire kingdom were gone. Yet this was not the end of the story. A new king would soon return to the throne and order something extraordinary that would change British history forever. In the year 1660, the monarchy returned. King Charles II became the new ruler of England. When he looked for the ancient crown jewels, there was almost nothing left. The treasures that had crowned generations of kings had disappeared forever. The new king knew that Britain needed new royal symbols. He ordered the finest goldsmiths and craftsmen in the country to create an entirely new collection. For months they worked day and night. They shaped beautiful crowns from pure gold. They created magnificent scepters, royal orbs, ceremonial swords, and priceless royal objects. Every detail was carefully designed to reflect the strength and glory of the monarchy. The new crown jewels were more than beautiful treasures. They became a symbol that the British monarchy had survived its darkest days. When King Charles II was crowned, the newly created crown jewels were used for the first time. People across the kingdom watched as the royal tradition was reborn. Generation after generation, these treasures continued to be used during the coronation of British kings and queens. Some of the most famous monarchs in history wore these very symbols of royal authority. Although the original medieval crown jewels were gone forever, Britain had created a new collection that would become one of the most valuable royal treasures in the world. But the danger had not disappeared. Only a few years later, a fearless man would attempt something almost impossible. He planned to steal the crown jewels from the Tower of London. His name was Thomas Blood. And his unbelievable plan would shock the entire nation. Thomas Blood was not an ordinary criminal. He was clever, patient, and fearless. He believed that even the most heavily protected treasure in Britain could be stolen. Instead of attacking the tower by force, he chose a different plan. He visited the tower several times, pretending to be a respectful gentleman. He slowly gained the trust of the keeper, who protected the crown jewels. The keeper welcomed him like a friend. Thomas Blood waited for the perfect opportunity. Then one day he returned with a small group of companions. As soon as they entered the room, they attacked the elderly keeper and tied him up. Time was running out. The thieves rushed toward the royal treasures. The crown was too large to carry, so they struck it with a hammer and flattened it. The royal orb was hidden beneath their clothes. The royal scepter was so long that they tried to break it into smaller pieces. Everything was happening within minutes. The thieves believed their plan had succeeded. But fate had something else in mind. The keeper's son unexpectedly returned to the tower. He immediately realized something was wrong. He raised the alarm and soldiers rushed into action. Thomas Blood and his companions tried to escape, but they were chased through the streets. Within a short time they were captured before they could disappear with the royal treasures. The damaged crown jewels were recovered and returned to safety. The shocking attempt became one of the most famous crimes in British history. People across the country could hardly believe that someone had come so close to stealing the symbols of the monarchy. Yet the greatest surprise was still to come. What happened to Thomas Blood after his capture remains one of the strangest mysteries in British royal history. After Thomas Blood was captured, everyone expected the harshest punishment. His crime was considered an attack on the crown itself. Many believed he would be executed without delay. But something completely unexpected happened. Instead of facing death, Thomas Blood was taken to meet King Charles II. No one knows exactly what was said during their meeting. The conversation was kept secret. Soon after the meeting, the king made a decision that shocked the entire country. Thomas Blood was not executed. He was forgiven. Even more surprising, he was given land and a yearly income by the king. People across England could not understand why. Some believed the king admired his courage. Others believed Thomas Blood knew dangerous secrets that could never be revealed. Another theory claimed that powerful people inside the royal court had secretly helped him. But no official explanation was ever given. Even today, historians continue to debate the real reason behind the king's decision. The mystery has never been completely solved. After this incredible event, security around the crown jewels became much stronger. More guards were appointed. New locks were installed. Access to the royal treasures became far more restricted. The failed theft changed the way Britain protected its most valuable royal possessions forever. Yet even with stronger security, another mystery continued to surround one particular jewel. A diamond whose history stretched across kingdoms, empires, and centuries. A diamond that remains one of the most controversial treasures in the world. Its name was the Koh-i-Noor. The Koh-i-Noor is one of the most famous diamonds ever discovered. Its name means mountain of light. For hundreds of years it passed from one powerful ruler to another. It witnessed battles, invasions, victories, and the rise and fall of great empires. Many kings believed that owning the diamond proved their right to rule. Others believed it carried a powerful curse. According to an old legend, any man who possessed the diamond would suffer great misfortune. Only a woman or a divine power could safely wear it. Whether the legend is true or not, no one can say. During the 19th century, the diamond came under British control after the annexation of the Punjab. It was presented to Queen Victoria and became part of the British royal collection. Over the years, it was placed in different royal crowns worn by queens during important ceremonies. Today, the Koh-i-Noor remains one of the most debated jewels in the world. Several countries believe the diamond should be returned because of its complex history. Britain continues to keep it as part of the royal collection. The discussion has continued for decades and there is still no agreement. For some people, it is a symbol of the British monarchy. For others, it represents a painful chapter of history. Whatever the truth may be, the Koh-i-Noor has become far more than a beautiful diamond. It has become a symbol of history, power, politics, and mystery. But the story of the British crown jewels does not end with one famous diamond. There is another reason why these priceless treasures have survived for centuries despite wars, revolutions, and countless threats. The answer lies inside the walls of the Tower of London. Today, the crown jewels are among the most heavily protected treasures anywhere in the world. They are kept inside the Tower of London, where history and security stand side by side. Millions of visitors come every year hoping to see these famous royal treasures with their own eyes. But very few people realize how much protection surrounds them every single day. The jewels are displayed behind extremely strong glass designed to resist powerful attacks. Advanced security systems watch every movement inside the building. Hundreds of cameras operate day and night. Highly trained officers constantly monitor the area. The famous yeoman warders, also known as the beefeaters, continue a tradition that has lasted for centuries. Although they welcome visitors, they also help protect one of the greatest collections of royal treasures in the world. After the attempt by Thomas Blood, every generation improved the security even further. New technology was added while ancient traditions were carefully preserved. During times of war, the crown jewels were secretly moved and hidden to protect them from enemy attacks. The exact locations were known by only a small number of trusted officials. Even today, many security details remain secret. The British government never reveals everything about how the jewels are protected. That mystery is part of what makes the crown jewels so fascinating. They are not only symbols of royal power. They are symbols of survival. They have endured wars, revolutions, political change, and countless threats. Yet they still remain one of the greatest attractions in British history. But after hearing the entire story, one important question still remains. Did Britain really lose its greatest royal treasure? Or has the biggest mystery been hiding in plain sight all along? The answer may surprise many people. Britain did not lose the modern crown jewels in a mysterious theft. But it did lose the original medieval crown jewels forever during one of the darkest periods in its history. Those priceless treasures can never be replaced. What visitors see inside the Tower of London today is a remarkable collection created after the old royal treasures were destroyed. The failed attempt by Thomas Blood proved that even the strongest security could be challenged. The story of the Koh-i-Noor reminds us that some royal treasures continue to spark debate across the world. Together, these events have created one of the most fascinating chapters in British history. The crown jewels are more than gold, diamonds, and precious stones. They represent tradition, power, sacrifice, survival, and centuries of history. Every crown tells a story. Every jewel carries a memory. Every royal ceremony connects the present with the past. Perhaps the greatest treasure is not the jewels themselves. Perhaps it is the history they have witnessed. As long as the crown jewels remain inside the Tower of London, people from around the world will continue asking questions, searching for answers, and uncovering the secrets of the British monarchy. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this journey through British history, make sure to subscribe, because the next story will uncover another incredible mystery that has remained hidden for centuries. Until then, keep exploring history, because the greatest stories are often the ones that are true.